Once I had gone to Narrated, a tiny little village hidden somewhere in the Sahyadri mountains. I had worked there and planned to stay just for a day, but I had to extend my stay and needed a place where I could spend the night. Now, Narrated is a very small village. It has no hotels and it has no motels. By 7 in the evening, everyone is back in their homes and there is not a soul on the roads. The entire place is deserted. I was wondering what to do when luckily I met Vishwas Rao, the tea shop owner. He suggested that I stay at the Divan Khana. The Divan Khana? Where is that? I asked him and he told me. It wasn't very far and I started walking to what he had referred to as the Divan Khana. It was a huge mansion, too large compared to tiny little Narrated. In fact, it was so huge that all the inhabitants of the village could easily be accommodated in it. But inside, there was no one. Let me tell you something. I know everyone says this about themselves, but it's true about me. I don't get scared easily. So even in the darkness, I started looking for a nice little corner where I could make myself comfortable for the night. In one of the inner rooms, I found an old tattered mattress, and I thought it was good enough for me. After all, it was just a matter of one night. So I used my briefcase as a pillow, and I made myself comfortable. I must have slowly dozed off when suddenly, tuck, 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 tuck. I got up with a start. I was sure I had heard something. And no, it was not my dreams. Tuck, 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 tuck. There it was again. Like I said before, I don't get scared easily. I wanted to get to the bottom of this strange knocking sound, so I got up and looked around. When I reached the large dining room, I heard it again. Tuck, 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 tuck. The sound came from the upper floor, so I quickly took the stairs and reached the first floor. The moonlight seeped through the open windows and helped me find my way. There was still no sign of the person who was making the sounds. Finally, I got tired and went back to the mattress. I decided to investigate further the next day and closed my eyes. I had a strange dream that night, filled with noises and music.
It's a bhoot, it's a bhoot. Let me know the truth. It's a bhoot, it's a bhoot. Let me know the truth. The tuck-tuck sound is filling my ears, disturbs my sleep and spreads my fears. The tuck-tuck sound is filling my ears, disturbs my sleep and spreads my fears. The tuck-tuck sound is everywhere I go. It comes from above, it comes from below.
It's a bhoot, it's a bhoot.
Tuck, tuck.
Let me know the truth.
The tuck-tuck sound haunts my sleep, boggles my mind with fears that are deep.
The tuck-tuck sound haunts my sleep, bothers my mind with fears that are deep. In my mind, the sound is stuck everywhere. Tuck, tuck, tuck.
Oh, in my mind the sound is stuck everywhere. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Tuck, 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 tuck.
The next morning, I was in a great hurry. I had to finish my work and I forgot all about the tuck, 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 tuck. I was busy with work until the evening, and after having finally finished it, I was relieved. Now I could go back to my own house, and I didn't have to stay in that dusty old Divan Khana. I went to the bus stand and waited for my bus. Then suddenly, I remembered. Tuck, tuck. I felt uncomfortable. I couldn't go back home unless I solved the mystery of the sound. Where did it come from? Was it a ghost? Slowly I started walking back to the Divan Khana. By the time I reached the mansion, it was pitch dark. I went right up to the room where I had spent the earlier night and began wondering if I had done the right thing by coming back. What if it really was a ghost? Then suddenly, I heard it again. Tuck, 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 tuck. I rushed out of the room and went upstairs. But now it seemed that the sound was coming from the ground floor. So I rushed down the stairs and darted from one room to another. I had to find the source of the sound. I was now sure that it must be a ghost. And it seemed to be playing hide and seek with me. If I went into the kitchen, it would move into the hall. If I ran into the hall, the ghost would flit into the kitchen. I spent hours chasing after the ghost, and finally, I was tired. I walked slowly to the porch and sat down on the steps under the bright moonlit sky. In the glimmering white light, the entire landscape looked spectacular. Soft breeze swayed the leaves gently, and I was breathing in the beauty that nature exhibited before my tired eyes. The sound started again. My first reaction was to dart in and restart the chase. But then I changed my mind. I decided to let the ghost do the chasing. So I slumped back on the steps. Tuck, 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 tuck. It soon became clear to me that the ghost was not the least bit interested in me. It walked around the house completely oblivious of my presence. It just went from one room to another, and from there to yet another. Never did it come out towards the porch. I was wondering what it wanted. Maybe it just wanted to be left alone. Maybe it was looking for someone. I did not realize when I closed my eyes and went off to sleep, right there on the steps of the porch. The early morning chill woke me up with a start. The first sun rays barely hit the treetops, and I realized that if I rushed, I would be able to catch the first bus out of Narrated. There was no point in chasing the ghost, as it was evident that it wanted to be left alone. At the bus stop, I met Vishwas Rao. He was busy making tea, as numerous passengers would soon swarm the place, and they would all want a hot cup of tea. I went up to him and ordered a cup of tea. He smiled and inquired if my stay at the mansion was comfortable. I smiled meekly. What could I say about the sounds that didn't allow me to sleep for 2 nights? But Vishwas Rao seemed to have understood. "So the sound didn't let you sleep, did it?" he asked me knowingly. I just mumbled. Vishwas Rao laughed heartily and didn't say anything. Finally, unable to control myself, I had to ask, "So whose ghost is it?" "Ghost? What ghost?" Vishwas Rao seemed genuinely surprised as he poured the milk into another greasy vessel. It was now my turn to be surprised. Well, the sounds? Tuck, 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 tuck. Oh, those! That's no ghost, sir. That's just sounds. Just sounds? What do you mean by that? I was beginning to lose my patience now. Then Vishwas Rao told me about the Divan Sahib, the old nobleman who had lived in the mansion. This was the story he told. Long ago, the Divan Sahib used to live in the mansion all by himself. He was very old. No one was as old as him. Some even said he was 250 years old. Although he was old, he could do all his work by himself. He didn't need any help, and that's why he lived alone in this huge mansion. But he needed support. So he held a bamboo stick in his hand as he walked. It was his walking stick. When he walked, his soft old feet didn't make any sound. Only his stick did. Tuck, 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 tuck. All day he would walk around the house going about his work. Tuck, 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 tuck. He walked like that for years and years. Close to 250 years. Tuck, 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 tuck. The Divan Sahib must have walked miles and miles in the mansion. Every step of his was accompanied by the sound of his stick. Imagine how many times he must have made that sound. Where did all the sounds go? The sounds had all got entrapped in the huge mansion. Billions and billions of tuck-tucks. Some may have leaked out through the windows. Some may have trickled out through the doors. And some may have escaped through the balconies. But there were still many left. Thousands and thousands still trapped inside the mansion. And slowly over the next few years, they too would escape, one by one, or in groups. All the tuk-tuks would slowly disappear and get lost in the forest outside. Then from there, drafts of wind would take them to the Narrated village. And then further away, who knows, maybe as far as Mumbai and Delhi. And only when all the sounds go will the Divan Khana be absolutely silent. No more tuck tuck, tuck tuck, tuck tuck, tuck tuck, tuck. As you know, Sahab, for every step in life that you take, there is a tuck. And the echo of each step, each tuck, remains longer than you can imagine. And that was where Vishwas Rao's story ended. After listening to his tale, I felt at peace. At last I had solved the mystery and could go home.
It's a bhoot, it's a bhoot. Let me know the truth. It's a bhoot, it's a bhoot. Let me know the truth. The tuck-tuck sound is filling my ears, disturbs my sleep and spreads my fears. The tuck-tuck sound is filling my ears, disturbs my sleep and spreads my fears. The tuck-tuck sound is everywhere I go. It comes from above, it comes from below. Tuck-tuck,
It's a bhoot, it's a bhoot.
tuck-tuck.
Let me know the truth.
The tuck-tuck sound haunts my sleep, boggles my mind with fears that are deep.
The duck duck sound haunts my sleep, bothers my mind with fears that are deep in my mind. The sound is stuck everywhere. Duck duck duck.
Oh, in my mind the sound is stuck everywhere. Tuck, tuck, tuck.
Chanana 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 chanana.